Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our May monthly call. We don't have a lot to cover this morning, so we will be moving through this presentation pretty quickly and then open the floor for any outstanding questions that you may have. Okay, today we're going to talk about the data results and provide that additional clarification for the SUNS ID assignment. Talk about the year-to-year change for child count, the Indicator 14 survey, the extended school year, and just some reminders for you. Okay. The data results for Indicator 7, 11, 12, and the Indicator 7, 11, and 12 data quality checks. We are uploading the last, which is Indicator 12, into ADT, along with your profiles for the FY 21 school year. Those are available in ADT. So if you should check, I'm going to go out on the limb and say by the end of this call, all of Indicator 12 would be posted in ADT for your review. Just a reminder that the profiles is a view of how your district pans or compares to our state performance plan, our annual performance report, which is a federal requirement. And those will be posted live on the website, on our website, June 1st. Indicators 4, 9, and 10 and the child count year-to-year change results will be posted or uploaded into ADT by next Friday for you to review. And Indicators 4, 9, and 10 is just your annual results and letting you know whether or not you met the triggers for the self-assessment. And then for the child count, that year-to-year change, we need those your response if you were impacted by the year-to-year change. That we need that information so that I can compile the report for the federal submission. The profiles, as I stated earlier, will be published on the website, on our website, June 1st, in accordance with OSEP's requirements. Okay. As it pertains to the SUNS assignment/alignment clarification, I do want to go on record and say that this is just a heads up for what is coming down the pikes. I do understand that the powers that be that will be primarily responsible for this process may not be aware just yet, but it is forthcoming and guidance will be coming from the department on what needs to happen and how this process will take place. Once again, this is just a heads up of what's coming down the pikes. What I would encourage you to do as a district would be to evaluate your processes to see how this will impact you. I do want to take a moment to send a shout out to Clover York too, because they understood the assignment and they are ahead of the game and ready for implementation of the SUNS alignment project. So kudos to them for that. As I stated on last month's call, we did provide our agency, Frontline provided our agency with a list of students who was without a state or SUNS ID number to get a heads up on which districts will be assigned. As I stated, this is just heads up of what's coming down the pipes. I cannot stress that enough. We have also added a report on the hub within Enrich for you to see the students that will be without a SUNS ID number once this implementation has happened. Once again, this is just heads up of what's coming down the pikes and an opportunity for districts to reevaluate their processes and how this will impact their processes, your processes from the special education standpoint. I will say that once this process is in place, the manual entry process on the Enrich side will come to an end, but not until everything is fully implemented and aligned. Okay. Your child count, thank you, thank you. I know it's been pretty rough with the child count report, but I am, based on all of the corrections that I have received, I am actually compiling your year-to-year change. As I stated, OSEP has changed their process, and they're requiring us to tell them why the change occurred within our state for particular um, reports. We're having to give them an explanation in advance versus later on after the submission. With this new process, resubmissions goes away as well. So it's kind of like a hard stop on some of the things and the way that we as a state used to submit our reports. And so we're having to submit explanations in advance. So I know that you just submitted or concluded submitting for tables 2, 4, 5 a couple of weeks ago, and you just gave me the corrections for your child count LREs. And now that I have that, I'll be compiling the year-to-year change reports for you to give me your response, if in fact you are impacted by this year-to-year change. Okay. This is just an illustration. I didn't change the year on this slide, but for the child count, it is the difference between your FY 2021 and your FY 22 child count data. And these responses will be due June 9th. Okay. We do want to take a moment to, I know that on the director's call 2 weeks ago, there was some information provided about the Indicator 14 poll and whether or not districts where we are re-implementing the opt-in process at the LEA level to conduct the surveys themselves. And so what we want to do at this time, if one of my team members would put the link in the chat, is just complete the survey. We're asking that you complete the survey to let us know, one, if you're interested in completing the survey for the current school year, if you're wanting to participate in the opt-in process, and two, if so, are you interested in hosting a community-wide event? So just trying to pull the districts to see what their standpoint is. If you say no, it is perfectly fine. We will send the surveys or your students' information to the vendor to complete the surveys on your behalf. And the survey results, I believe, can one of my team members tell me how long we said that we would leave the survey open? We didn't put it on the slide.
We will be the survey will be open for until next Friday,
Okay,
and I will
so
go ahead and put that link into the chat.
thank you, Albert. Okay, so just something for you guys as a district to think about. Once again, this is polling the districts to see if they're interested in doing the opt-in for this current school year. The survey itself for the actual Indicator 14 will be open until September 30th, I believe it is. So we do have some time embedded for you to complete the process should you decide to opt in for Indicator 14. The ESY report, it is the purpose of this report is to help offset the expenses involved in providing ESY services mandated through IDEA for eligible students with disabilities. All districts submit this report, and it is submitted via a certification form with just the total number of students. And you will email that certification to the Special Education Services at ed.sc.gov email address. This certification is due to our office as well as the year-to-year response, June 9th. And it must be signed by your superintendent or designee. Okay. And basically all you're doing is certifying the total that you send to our office. once we have all of the certification totals, I will send those numbers over to finance so that they could get those funds to you guys. Okay, things to consider for ESY. The following criteria must apply. The students must have been evaluated and determined to have a disability in accordance with the State Board of Education regulations. ESY must have been addressed on the student's IEP. And for the students that are turning 3 during the summer months, and ESY services are recommended by the IEP team, even if this is prior to them receiving any services. So for those students who are 3 or turning 3 during the summer, if it is addressed or if it's deemed that they will benefit from ESY services, then they should be included in those in your count as well. As I stated, funds will be distributed in June, but not until I get all district certification totals. And these funds must be expended by September 30th of 2024. Okay. Some reminders, the remaining reports for this current school year are, as I stated earlier, the profiles will be posted June 1st. Your ESY certification is due June 9th. Our monthly June call will be June 15th, and Indicator 7 final report for this reporting year is due June 23rd. I cannot stress to you enough that if you participated in the data quality check for Indicator 7, 11, or 12, it is important that you have those instances or issues resolved prior to your final submission, if it is something that can be resolved before submission. If it is something that requires a further explanation to us, go ahead and send those explanations to us in advance. That will eliminate us having to reach back out to you for clarification. So the idea is to submit your report as clear and with notes that will help us make a decision as we're going through cleaning the data. Our July submissions, the Indicator 8 survey for the 23-24 school year will open July 11th for the next reporting year. And we hope to give you some information on how we will be structuring the surveys for the upcoming school year. We are changing that particular process, so we'll provide information to you on our June meeting as it pertains to the restructuring or re-implementation of the sampling for Indicator 8. Table 5 is due July 14th via the Excel spreadsheet. And just remember that this will be the last time that you will have to submit the Excel spreadsheet because beginning in the 23-24 school year, Table 5 submission, you will have to, we are actually going to use PowerSchool to complete that information. Indicators 11 and 12 are due July 28th, and Table 4 is also due July 28th as well. Okay. Our next monthly call is June 15th. Actually, what I'm going to do at the culmination of the June call is I'm going to delete the current monthly calls in the current format, and I'm going to send a new one. We've had a lot of staff changes, and I want to be sure that everyone is getting the invitations for the upcoming year. So at the conclusion of the June meeting, you will receive an email canceling all monthly invitations call as so maybe at the top of July, I will send a new meeting invitation for the 23-24 school year. Okay. And that concludes our meeting for this morning. Albert, if you would open the floor for questions.
Okay, did you want me to stop the recording at this point?
No, leave it on.
Okay, give me one
Thank
moment.
you.
Okay, the floor is now open for everyone to just unmute themselves if they have any questions to ask at this point.
There's a lot of questions in the chat.
Let me.
I do see some in the chat, and then let me go back up, and I'm trying to scroll back up to see if I can capture the first ones.
I'm
You have
going to
them,
say,
Carolyn?
and Andrea,
Okay.
yes, okay.
Go
I
ahead.
see the first one that says, is there a copy of the presentation already shared? And the presentation was emailed this morning along with this ESY certification form. So you should have that in your email. If you did not receive it, just send me an email and I will forward it to you.
Carolyn, I have a question.
Sure.
This is Sheila with Beaufort County. With the Indicator 14 in the past, when the districts opt in, they were given incentives, the extra points. Are there going to be any of those incentives, any additional points or anything?
Yes,
With
we
the-
will re-implement the bonus points, but the weighting, the percentages will be different. And so we're working on those. But we want to
Okay.
get a pool for which districts are interested at this point.
Okay, all right. And also with the community-wide event, is that anything different than what we would typically be doing? Or can you elaborate a little bit more on the
So-
community-wide event?
Just because I'm familiar with Beaufort, so basically, I know that you guys have a summer bash or back to school bash. So as a part of that particular event,
Okay.
you would have a station or an
Right.
area where parents are coming in and maybe do a social media blast to say that, you'll have a poll out there to engage what the students are doing 1 year after
Okay.
leaving high school. And as they come in, if they have a student that left during the previous year and have been out of school for 1 year, they would complete the survey at that time. So
Right, absolutely.
if you have a process in place, capitalize on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I did have another question in reference to that. When we did the survey the last time, we were able to, when we did it ourselves prior to going to the vendor, we had the option to try to contact the parents by phone. And so many times we kept trying, we were given points based on that. So are we going to be doing something like that again? Or
It is going to be similar,
Okay.
but what we did previously was considered a contact rate, and so this time
Okay.
around, even though we set a response rate, we look solely at contacts, but this time around we are going to look at the response. And so, although you may contact and have the exclusion for not, you've tried 3 times and you weren't able to contact those kids, it won't you won't be penalized for that, but it won't be
Okay.
included in your response rate because they didn't complete the survey. So this time around, we will look at the response rate and it will only include those families that actually responded to the surveys.
Okay, yeah, we like getting the responses back from the parents and students and trying to match. And the reason I have so many questions about this is because we want to maximize, whatever we do
Oh,
and get the best options out. Okay, well, thank you.
Sure. I see a question in the chat that says, can you tell us the name of the report in the hub in case it's not obvious? I will double check and get the name of the report to you. And the second question that I see is, what did Clover do? So Clover actually went ahead and they, as a district, they went ahead and added that school into their system, into their Power School. So all students that are not enrolled in public schools will be dropped into this particular school, and will be assigned a state ID number moving forward. And so those students, as they receive their son's ID number, will be uploaded or yeah, upload it as a part of the nightly interface process with PowerSchool feeding into Enrich. The name of the report. Can you clarify? Can I clarify, is it 20 students and 4%? 2% is a change. Okay, so as it pertains to the year-to-year change, there are two criterias, and both must exist in order for you to have a year-to-year change or require a response. The first is if there's a change in count of 20 students and 20%. So both criteria must exist in order for you to have to give me a response for the year-to-year change. The second criteria is if there's a change in count of 0 and 20 students. So one is looking at, both are looking at the count in a count of 20, but the second criteria is 0 and 20. So anytime that you have a change in count of 0 and the next reporting year, it's at least 20 or greater, then you'll be required to tell us why that is happening. Okay. I hope that clarifies the question, Nicole. If not, you can come off mute and tell me and let me know.
Thank you. I just needed to know if it was if it was
Yes.
one of them or if it was both of them.
There are two separate criterias, and so both conditions must be met in order for you to have to give a response. And so, like I said, the first is a change in count of 20 and 20%, and then the second criteria is a change in count of 0. So 0 is the key for the second criteria. We don't have a whole lot of the 0 counts, but the 20 and 20% is where we mostly have the changes.
Thank you.
Sure. Someone asked, Kelly, can you tell me if the link is working now? I'm not sure. Albert did put the survey. Are we good with the survey link for indicator 14?
The participation survey is live, and yes, I did place it in the link. It should be working.
Thank you. The Excel spreadsheet for Table 5 should be on the State Department's website. Albert, if you don't mind going out to our website and getting the link as to where the discipline form. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like Yolanda put it in the chat already, so we're good there. What is the current threshold for SIGDIS Pro for discipline? When we are talking about significant disproportionality for discipline, we are at a threshold of 3%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the advantage of opting in. So one of the main advantage of opting in is to give the districts feedback on what's happening with the students after they're graduating, find out or publicize success stories with the students. That's one of the main things, is to engage the students to find out what they're doing and if they could have done anything differently to help them along the way. I didn't mention the payment for indicator 14 because that's not my area of expertise. I do know that Peter has mentioned maybe providing the district some resources to help offset the community event. What that looks like, I don't know. I can't speak to that. Okay, the ESY. So for those students, we know that with students that get the IEPs during the summer, most of them have a delayed start date. So as long as ESY is addressed on the students' IEPs, then you can include them into your ESY count for services. Sonia, when you reference the participation survey, are you talking about the one that polls the districts to see if they want to opt in?
Ma'am,
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
yes, I was just, we're gonna wait to see what Peter, I guess, says about the financial, if we'll have people to be able to do it before I answer the survey. So,
Okay.
let's see how long we have.
Until next Friday, we should have something to you by then. I'll speak with him this afternoon, and get some more information about that.
Thank you.
Kelly, in reference to the indicator 14, as I stated earlier, as far as the 100%, that was more of a contact rate, not necessarily a response rate. And so moving forward, we are going to build those percentages, bonus points based on the families that actually completed the surveys. So that's the difference. We were operating under a contact rate, not necessarily a response rate.
And Carolyn, I'd like to add that Indicator 14's poll survey is just to get an idea as to whether or not there is interest in either of the two options. So it's just calculating to find out how many districts are actually interested in participating, but further details will come in at a later date. So you can complete the survey by Friday.
Okay. So, Albert, if you can, looks like can we add a question on the survey for districts to decline to participate?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, cool, thank you. Ms. Harper, if you could explain your question a little more, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're asking.
Well, number one, the survey, the way it's currently worded right now, it says my district will participate, but it sounds like what you guys are asking is, are we interested in participating potentially, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay, so I guess since we haven't participated, I just want to read a little bit more about it. Where do I go to read more?
Okay, it's not a whole lot. Let me see. I'm going to find the director's call PowerPoint. I think it was mentioned during that call. So let me get the recording from that particular meeting and send and forward it to you, where he talked about it and made this introduction of re-implementing the opt-in. And I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Are there any more questions?
Yes, this is Karen Whitlock, and I was in on that director's meeting, but I don't think Peter really explained it anymore either. So for some of us who are new, it would be nice to know a little bit more about the advantages or disadvantages of opting in.
Well, once again, the sole premise or purpose of it was to really, as a state, increase our response rate for Indicator 14, which is our post-secondary outcome survey, and to gauge whether the students are enrolled in college, or are they competitively employed, or are they just doing something else. By opting in, one of the advantages was giving the districts or having an opportunity to hear the success stories, or to find out if there was something that they could have done or the district could have done to better help the student if they didn't have a success story or if there was a difficult time. I can't say that, there are any pros or cons at this point. It's just an opportunity to help increase your response rate. But we'll get with Peter and put something together more formally or more officially, if you will, that talks about Indicator 14 and the opting in process. Okay, and I will double check with Frontline to see what the name of that report is for the students without a son's ID number. and send it when I send the link for this recording. The ESY report is not within Enrich. It is a PDF document similar to your child count certification where you just put the total in and send it to us. The ESY report within Enrich, we were never able to get it to work. So not since I've been with the agency, have districts submitted the ESY report within Enrich. They typically just submit a total to our office. I think I've covered all the questions in the chat. So Lynn, I see that you said that you've used it before in the past. Is the report not open at all in Enrich? Okay, I'll follow up with that on that. Okay, so my action items, one is to get more information on indicator 14, find out the link to the name of the SUNS alignment report within Enrich. And I feel like there was one more thing that I'm supposed to do. The name of the report. Enrich Hub team, help me out. Am I missing anything as far as action items?
You said you wanted to add another, I guess, question to the survey, just indicating that districts are declining to participate.
Yes.
Do you want me to post a link to the ESY certification form in the chat for everyone to have access to easily? It is on our website.
Yes, please. And if there are no additional questions, we do thank you. I don't know where the year has gone. I will say that it has been another challenging year of reporting, but I do thank you guys for your diligence in helping us to help you get your data correct and making sure that it's correct so that it's a true representation of your district. And thank you guys for all that you do. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay.